Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Uncivil Law. It is truly a glorious day, and we are here to learn about the fate of another would-be patriot. The story of Klete, Derik Keller. Mr. Keller. We have an arrest warrant for Mr. Keller for obstructing law enforcement, knowingly entering a building, and violent charges. Basically the same thing we've seen against all the people involved, enough to get the ball rolling. What is the evidence we have against Mr. Keller, or Klete? Klete Derik. Let's find out what we have against Mr. Derik to share. So we have the standard preliminary stuff. Okay. So, after the standard preliminary stuff, we get to the story of Mr. Keller. A search of open records revealed a video credited to Town Hall Media, a political news organization depicting various events that occurred on the Capitol. And this video was accessible on the internet at the following URL. The video is also accessible with dialogue from the individual who recorded the video at this URL. How thoughtful. We have the video, and we also have video with dialogue. That's nice. At approximately 12 minutes and 52 seconds into the video, an individual, person number one, who I guess we don't know who that is yet, we'll figure it out later, is visible in the United States Capitol Rotunda, the Rotunda, wearing a dark colored jacket with the markings USA in white printed letters on the back. Person number one can be seen in the bottom center of the screenshot of the video with a red oval around him. Beginning at approximately 13 minutes and 6 seconds, law enforcement officers attempted to remove individuals from the rotunda and continue to do so for the next several minutes of the video. At approximately 14 minutes and 38 seconds, person number one is still in the rotunda and the back of his jacket is still visible. Person number one stands taller than a number of individuals around him and can clearly be seen as law enforcement officers repeatedly attempt to remove him from the rotunda. At 14 minutes and 41 seconds, law enforcement officers appear to push person number one from behind. Person number one can be seen standing in the rotunda, still wearing his dark-colored USA jacket, which also appears to bear a Nike logo on the right front side and a red and white Olympic patch on the left front side. Nike, just do it. Below is a photograph of what appears to be the Olympic patch. Okay. Continuing through the video, at 14 minutes and 53 seconds, law enforcement officers continue to try to remove person number one, among other individuals, from the rotunda. Person number one's bearded face is clearly visible on the left side of the video in the below screenshot depicted in the red oval. Additional open source research revealed media outlets such as SwimSwam. SwimSwam? What kind of outlet is this? Who's ever heard of SwimSwam? Okay, whatever. Apparently there's a news outlet called SwimSwam. This is the first time this is coming to my attention. A news organization that covers competitive swimming and other related events. Identify this individual as the possible Klete Derik Keller. The FBI has confirmed this identification. So just a small stylistic point. I don't particularly like that they refer to him as person one and then identify him later as Keller. The standard way to do this, it in absolutely no way affects the validity of the warrant, just a personal thing. But yeah, normally you normally use like person one or individual one when they're not indicted. So this person is indicted. So you can like call them Keller earlier. Even though you don't know it's Keller yet, technically, you do now, so you can, yeah. So yeah, just a stylistic point, but they kept calling him person one for some reason, but it was Mr. Keller the entire time. Mr. Keller is person number one. Fantastic. All right, fine. So how do we confirm this identification? So tricky. First, a search of the Colorado Department of Motor Vehicles returned Klete Derik Keller, August 2019 driver's license photo. By comparing this photograph to an image of person number one, the FBI reasonably believes that they're the same person. Well, let's take a look. Here is the photograph of his driver's license, and here is a photograph of the guy. Do we think that they're the same person? Definitely could be. Yeah, looks like he's lost a little weight since his driver's license photo, but definitely looks like the same guy or close to him. Probable cause, we're there. Great. Second, Colorado state records and publicly identifiable information lists Keller's height as 6'6", and Keller, which they keep calling person number one for some reason, appears to be one of the tallest individuals. So that would be another clue it's the same guy. Third, open records reveal that Keller is in fact a 3-time Olympic athlete and gold medalist. And person number one appears to be wearing a United States Olympic team jacket in the video. So as it turns out, Mr. Keller has been an Olympian. He's been a 3-time Olympian. And he's won the gold medal in the Olympics. And he's wearing his team jacket at the Riots. Let me say that again. He's wearing his team jacket at the riot. I mean, it could be anybody. Could be anybody. Okay. That's, all right. That's okay. Great. Yep. Based on the foregoing, we believe that he violated the law of knowingly entering the building with intention to disrupt, that he uttered loud language and paraded in the Capitol building, and that he unlawfully committed or attempted to commit any act to obstruct a law enforcement officer. So, based on this photograph and this video, we think Mr. Olympian over here, Mr. Keller, 3-time Olympian, wearing his team jacket, violated the law. So, he's won today's Olympic prize, I guess. It's a relatively short story of Mr. Keller. But, yeah. That's the end of that guy. So, I don't know. Olympian falls far, falls fast. So, yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, I love these comments. M. Thomas, operational security is clearly not something these people ever thought about. And it didn't really occur to them on the operational security, apparently, no. Firefighters and Olympians throwing their accomplishments and lives away, yes. Bruce Jenner was an Olympian? He sure was. Waiting for the steroids made me do it. Colorado stuns. Yeah, so we have Colorado. We have Colorado on our map. So for all the people who are keeping their maps at home, please remember to mark Colorado off on your map. We've got Colorado. Is Swim Swam derivative of TikTok? I have no goddamn idea what a Swim Swam is. But apparently it's a thing. I don't want to know what it is. I don't particularly care. So, yeah, whatever it is, we found him and we found the photographs and whatever, so, yeah. Yeah, so that's the end of that tea. I guess that's the end of that tea for the Olympian. And again, as always, we have no idea if this will be the end of the road for Mr. Keller, the Olympian. I have a feeling that the U.S. Attorney would want to make an example of him because of his Olympic status. So if I were a betting man, I think that the U.S. Attorney will try to elevate these charges in the future, if they can, because the fall from grace, make the person who once stood proudly for our national flag really eat it. The people that I'm really excited about in all this, are all the former military officers. They're the ones I'm the most excited about. Apparently, there's a former Navy SEAL or something who might have been there, and also there were other people in the military who were there. Yeah, I mean, they might all be retired, but then the federal government has to decide whether or not to recall them just so we can try them in military courts. That'll be fun. Will we convert this from federal civilian into a military court because we can? That might be fun. Maybe we'll UCMJ some of these people. That'll be good. The U.S. government can decide about that later, whether or not they want to recall these people just so we can charge them criminally under the UCMJ. That'll be good. Maybe we'll do that. But that's the one that's going to be the most fun for all the retired military people. Yeah, that's going to be good. So we're waiting for that. But I think they want to make an example of the Olympian. So yeah. They have an active duty Virginia National Guard under arrest. There's a federal official for you, right? They're still sworn to the United States, so that's a UCMJ for you. Now, the U.S. government could choose to do it either way. They could choose to prosecute him in civilian court or prosecute him in military court. Dealer's choice, right? So the U.S. government will have to decide if they want to prosecute him in civilian court or the UCMJ. They have options. So we'll see. Yeah. They can pull you back into active status just to court-martial you? Yep. They sure can. Yeah, they sure can. They can pull you back into active services just to court-martial you. How fun. Yeah. It's one of those things they didn't tell you about in the recruiting brochure, I'm sure. Yeah. How will these arrests happen? Can they fight extradition? Not really. They have valid arrest warrants in D.C. I mean, they can fight them. They'll just lose. They'll all lose. There's a valid search warrant. There's a valid arrest warrant. It's full faith and credit. It's easy. So yeah, these people have been arrested. I think some of them people have actually been arraigned in like Texas or something. They've been arraigned in other places for just convenience. But yeah, I mean, extradition is easy. And so they can fight it, but what's the point? As long as there's a valid warrant, and there is, and it's signed off by the right officials, it's full faith and credit. So it's apparently it's easy. So I suppose they can fight the extradition, but they'll all lose. They'll all lose universally. Will they do that to Flynn? What will they do to Flynn? Flynn's been oh no. Will they UCMJ him? No. He's got a pardon anyway, which I believe covers the UCMJ anyway, because it's federal. The UCMJ is also federal. So I'm pretty sure, I'm 95% sure that the pardon also covers him for any possible UCMJ, because it's pardon. So I'm pretty sure, because the UCMJ is also federal. It's different federal, but still federal. So for double jeopardy purposes, yeah, I don't think he can be pulled back. I think General Flynn's in the clear. Yeah. Can I talk about Section 3 of the 14th Amendment? Section 3 of the 14th Amendment prohibits Section 3 of the 14th Amendment prohibits anyone who's been involved in sedition and insurrection from holding federal office. But it's unclear what exactly that means. It's unclear if it's self-executing. It's unclear if that means people who's been convicted of it. It's unclear what it means, but it's only relevant if any of these people ever run for federal office. So if any of these people ever run for federal office, I guess we'll have to find out. But until that happens, I wouldn't worry about too much. Do I think the Patriot Act will come into play on any of this? I would doubt it. I think the FBI can just get all the warrants they need from the DC court. So there's no really reason to go to the FISA court. So, I mean, I couldn't say for sure, but I think there's no particular reason to go to the FISA court. So why? Just go to the DC court. They can handle it and give you the warrants you need. It's one less issue you have to fight down the road if you're the U.S. attorney. Right? It's one less thing that you have to argue about the FISA thing. So if you just get it from the district court, it's one less thing you have to fight about later. So I couldn't say for sure, but I don't think the Patriot Act comes into this. That's just a guess, though. So yeah. Is there a time limit on recall? I couldn't speak to that. So I think that's the end of the questions. It's never FISA. Well, I mean, it's rarely. FISA does issue a lot of court warrants, but I think their incentives are to is any federal office or any political office. It's federal office. Yeah, I think. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it's federal office. Let me see. What does the actual text of it say? Yeah, it's federal. Oh, wait. No, or as a member of any state legislature or executive or judicial officer of any state shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion. So it is state too. Okay. So I was mistaken. So it includes both federal and state. So I missed one. So uncivil law got one wrong. Yeah, it's federal and state that disqualifies you from. But it's unclear if that's self-executing, if it means you have to be convicted of that or whatever. And, it never really came into place in the first place because what it was written to do was disqualify all the Confederate soldiers. But Congress basically waived all those disqualifications anyway. So it never really came into place. You know. Did everyone hear about Bumble? Apparently there were some people in DC who, because Bumble allows you to filter dates based on political affiliation, among other things, it allows you to select political affiliation. So apparently there were a couple, I don't know how many, but there was some number of Democrat or left-leaning women who then on Bumble put themselves as right-leaning conservative and then basically honeypotted and said, "Oh, I'm looking for people who are involved in the movement. Were you involved?" "Yeah, I was." "Oh, I love it. It gets me hot. Can you please send me photographs and videos?" "Yeah, here it is, baby. I know you love it." And then just turned it over right to the FBI. And apparently Bumble took away the ability to filter based on political affiliation for some reason because they thought this was bad. But yeah, there were a couple women in DC, some number of women, who knows how many, that were honeypotting to get that the right wing who were doing this. So just a funny little note there. Yeah. It wasn't just women. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't just women. I apologize. Am I on Bumble? I try different services from time to time. Yeah. Why? You wanna chat at me on Bumble? The one I've been using the most is Hinge, which hasn't gotten me anywhere. But yeah, that's the one I've been using the most is Hinge. But yeah, but I am conservative. But if what gets you hot is video and photographs of me participating in the Capitol riot, I'm sorry, I just didn't go. I was here in Austin. In fact, I was live streaming from this room at the time it was happening. So I have no videos or photographs to share with you of my raid on the Capitol. I know, disappointing, but that's where we are. You'll have to find someone else for your conservative leaning needs, I guess. But until later, my friends, this has been Uncivil Law, and cheers, and goodbye.